Welcome back, Truth Seeker. If you were listening to my radio program last night, great caller from New York pointed out that there was a recent article about how Tom Brady is cheering for a Milwaukee Brewers and Boston Red Sox article. This news first debuted October 7th, 2018. What's interesting about October 7th is it's the day leaving 85 days left in the year. National Football League equals 85. Brady equals 85. Boston equals 85. Let's put these up here real quick. Boston 85. Brady 85. National Football League. So the star of the NFL comes out and says he wants a Milwaukee Brewers and Boston Red Sox World Series. The date numerology of that story, numerology of 55, 10 plus 7 plus 20 plus 18. Wisconsin has the gematria of 55, the state the Brewers are in. Boston, Massachusetts has the gematria of 55. If you were following the work I was doing at the beginning of the Major League Baseball season, I was pointing out how there were these tributes to Major League Baseball in Seattle. But I was saying, I don't think it's the Mariners' season, so I'm not sure why they're doing this. It's interesting to note that the Milwaukee Brewers' first season was with the Seattle Pilots. They had 1 year as the Seattle Pilots. Then they switched to Milwaukee. They've been the Brewers ever since. So anyway, this 55 date numerology. What else jumps out about Tom Brady of the Patriots, who's 5-3 in Super Bowls, is that Patriots equals 53. So does Milwaukee. So does Boston Red Sox. And we've seen the major tributes this year with the Patriots and the Red Sox. This story coming October 7th, it was 16 days before the start of the World Series on October 23rd. 53 is the 16th prime number. That's very interesting. I also noticed that a local Boston publication carried this story on October 9th. That's when they first published the story. And what's interesting about that date is it has 57 numerology, the big World Series number. For probably 2 or 3 months now, we've been talking on the radio program about the possibility of a Boston Red Sox World Series win and a New England Patriots win. I said back in July, I said, I got to look up when Game 5 of the World Series is, because if Game 5 of the World Series is synced up perfectly with Super Bowl 53, that might be a big clue for this Boston special, the Red Sox and the Patriots. And it was a caller that night who looked it up and he said, I just did it. Game 5's on October 28th, and from October 28th to the date of the Super Bowl is a span of 99 days. Like how this is the 99th NFL season. Well, what's interesting about Brewers is they have that gematria of 99 as well. So, this is a very interesting narrative. I've been thinking out of the National League teams left that this season began on the 88th day of the year, the earliest start in MLB history. The Dodgers haven't won since 88. They just got Manny Machado. His birthday was 88 days before the start of the playoffs. I really like all that about the Dodgers, especially with the thing with LeBron, because there's other narratives to think about here. LeBron James equals 114. This is the 114th World Series. He went from Cleveland to LA 114 days before the start of the World Series, July 1st to October 23rd. They set that Cleveland forest fire 78 days before the start of the World Series, Cleveland 78. Let me check something real quick. Yeah, just the Cleveland is 78, and that forest fire was 78 days before the start of the World Series. I remember that very clearly. So yeah, that LA narrative is hard to overlook, but now this recent story, it's like, are they throwing this stuff out here to cloud our judgment because they know we're decoding this way? Or is this something we need to look at? And the reason that this is worth considering is because, again, at the beginning of the year, I was seeing all of these Seattle stories that were in tribute to the baseball season, and lo and behold, the Brewers began their franchise career in Seattle. It is very fascinating that Brewers equals 99. And the reason I was saying, does Game 5 sync up with the Super Bowl, is because the Red Sox could potentially win 4-1 in Game 5, 4-1, like 41, like how Tom Brady's 41 years old, and Super Bowl has the gematria of 41. So these are things we've been talking about. The other thing that we caught was Boston Marathon bombing equals 114 when spelled correctly. Boston Marathon bombing 114 from the date of the Boston Marathon bombing to the start of the World Series is a span of 2018 days. Just like how the 114th World Series is in 2018. There were those recent gas explosions in Massachusetts on September 13th, and I showed how that was synced up with the World Series so nicely. Have to go back and look at that post, but let's just run those dates again, see if it jogs my memory. I know the video's out there on my YouTube account if you want to go back and look at it. But World Series begins October 23rd. It was a span of 41 days later, and there was something greater to it. The videos are out there, but I think a lot of clues are stacking in the Red Sox favor for the AL. And I was starting to like a Red Sox Dodgers World Series a lot. But this Brewers thing, it's making me go, And then, of course, the other thing is, I mean, there's just, I hate this year. This is the hardest year to call the World Series so far since I started this. Largely because I didn't do the research in the beginning of the year because I was working. But the other thing that recently came across our plate was the Sports Illustrated prediction. They doubled down and said the Astros will win the 2018 World Series. Let's see. So right here, Sports Illustrated calls Astros to repeat in the 114th World Series. This prediction was made November 2nd, 2017. And the man who made this prediction, the last one that hit, and this year's, his name's Ben Reeder, has the gematria of 147 and 57. Houston Astros have that gematria of 147 and 75. World Series also 147 and 57. So, not making this video to confuse you, just putting this video out is information and more to think about. I know a lot of you are doing great decoding work in the comments, and perhaps you'll catch the missing piece. Just like I put that post up about the Game 4 of the Yankees series, and moments after I put it up, the man pointed out that, hey, the Red Sox pitcher that has all these Yankees numbers with a win tonight, he's 18-7 on the season, like how his name's 187, like New York Yankees is 187. And I said, I think you might have just found the winning piece, and sure enough, the Red Sox edged out the Yankees. Granted, that pitcher didn't get the win, but still, that was a big clue right there. So it's all about finding those winning clues. And just want to share this with you guys. Some meat for the brain, something to chomp on in case you weren't aware of this story. I wasn't last night until I got the call on my radio show, but the dates are definitely interesting. And I think there was one more thing I meant to hit in here that I forgot to cover. Coming back to this potential Brewers-Red Sox matchup, the Tom Brady World Series. Christian Yelich is the big story for the Brewers. Nearly got the Triple Crown. His name has gematria of 163, which is the 38th prime number. And I just wanted to measure from that Game 5 to his upcoming birthday, which is December 5th. He's going to turn 27. He's 26 right now, big baseball number. Going to turn 27, another big MLB number. But from that Game 5 to his birthday is 38 days. 163, the 38th prime. That's interesting to me. And that 5 weeks and 3 days jumps too. Because we're talking about how Game 5 synced up with Super Bowl 53 and how these teams all carry the 53 gematria connection. The Brewers carry it through the state, Milwaukee. But hey, don't forget this either. Los Angeles has that gematria of 53. And they could just as well fit the riddle. So, going to keep looking at this. For the next baseball series, I'll try to decode each game and tell you what I think. And once they got those pitchers out there, I can start doing that. So, until next time, Truth Seeker.